Hi, I'm Anna, and welcome back to my channel, Building a Business. In my previous video, which I will link up here, I discussed my long-term goal. That is to become financially independent through rental real estate and to have the freedom to work when I want, on what I want, where I want. Essentially, I want to eliminate any financial pressure or stress so that I can focus on doing what really makes me happy and having a positive impact on the community. And of course, I'm really excited about the possibility of reaching this goal, but I know it's not just going to happen and it's not going to be easy. And so to ensure that I achieve the final outcome that I'm hoping for, I've created a SMART goal to make sure I make it to that point. So for those of you who don't know what SMART goals are, they're basically just a way of formatting your goals to help ensure that you eventually achieve your goals. So SMART is an acronym for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-based. And so essentially the idea behind a SMART goal is to ensure your specific goal checks off all 5 of the criteria I just mentioned. And if it does that, then you're far more likely to be able to achieve your goal than if you just said, for instance, I want to retire someday. So here's my thinking on how I can achieve my goal and how I can use SMART goals to help me get there. I determined that for myself to feel totally financially secure, I need to be making $10,000 per month. How did I come up with $10,000? Well, I'm making $4,000 now after taxes, and I could certainly live off of $4,000 per month for the rest of my life. I know that there are a lot of people that live off of far less. However, for me, there are a number of things I want to do and achieve that would be pretty challenging with a budget of $4,000 per month, especially considering that I need to be saving for the future as well, so my spending power is significantly less than $4,000 per month. So I live in the San Francisco Bay Area, which I'm sure you have heard is very expensive. I pay about $2,150 per month on rent, utilities, renter's insurance, anything else that goes along with my rent. And so that's over 50% of my after-tax income. And if you live in the Bay Area, you probably know that spending that high of a percentage of your income on rent is very common. However, I would feel far more financially secure if I were able to decrease that percentage without moving. I really love where I live, and I'm really hoping that I can achieve my goals without moving to a different location. Secondly, my health insurance is currently covered by my employer, but that may change in the future for a number of reasons. And so I anticipate my monthly expenses to go up significantly when I am in the position of having to pay for my own health insurance. And additionally, despite being young, I've had a couple of pretty serious health issues and diagnoses in the past that have caused me to have to go to the doctor far more regularly than the average person my age. And also just I spend a lot more on medical procedures and tests and everything than the average person my age. And thirdly, there are just a couple things that I have to watch myself in terms of my spending. For instance, going to concerts or other activities with friends, eating out, just the typical ways that people spend money outside of what is essential for their life. And granted, of course, I could spend more on those items currently. However, if I did that, I would then not be able to save as much. And so for me, it's kind of a constant trade-off between spending now for enjoyment currently versus saving for the future and be able to have financial independence earlier and therefore minimize my financial stress and financial issues in the future. And the last major reason that I want to make more money is because I set aside a certain percentage of whatever I make each year to donate. And so the more I make, the more I donate because it's just a straight percentage of what I make. And of course, there are a number of other smaller factors that went into making my decision that $10,000 per month would be my goal. However, I understand, it is a pretty arbitrary value. I would be happy with, say, $9,500 a month. It's not a strict rule that I have to get $10,000. However, for my goal to make it as specific as possible, $10,000 seemed like a great number to choose because it is very close to the ballpark of what I think I would like to be making. And it's just a nice, easy round number that's easy to remember. In terms of my goal being measurable, it's pretty obviously measurable. It will be pretty straightforward for me to look through my accounts and determine if I make $10,000 a month or not. However, with rental real estate, it's not always a consistent amount that you make per month because you might have a bunch of repairs one month, or maybe you have a major capital expenditure project one month that significantly eats into your profits if you have any profits at all during that month. And so I anticipate my rental real estate income fluctuating a bit from month to month. Therefore, to minimize this volatility, I've decided to base my monthly income on the past 12 months, essentially the past year. So essentially what that means is I'll just average my monthly income for the past 12 months to determine what my overall monthly income is on average. So let's say, for example, that I made $10,000 per month for 11 months. But then on that last month, I made zero because I had to spend $10,000 for a big capital expenditure project. If I then take the average of those 12 months, my income per month would actually be $9,167 and not $10,000. So I wouldn't quite have reached my goal of $10,000 per month, but I'm very close. So after being specific and measurable, the next SMART goal criteria is achievable. I know making $10,000 per month through rental real estate is achievable because I've heard of a lot of different people who have done it. So the question for me isn't so much is it achievable, but can I do it within the time frame I've allotted? But that's skipping ahead a bit to the time-based aspect of the goal. So after achievable, the next criteria is relevant. I would definitely say that my goal is relevant. I would say it's incredibly relevant because my two major goals are to become financially independent and to be able to do what I want, when I want, where I want. And I believe if I'm able to make $10,000 per month through my rental real estate portfolio, that those two goals will largely be achieved. And now coming back to the time-based aspect of the SMART goals. Essentially, I need to create a deadline. Now, this has been the hardest of the 5 criteria for me to determine because I haven't done this before. I don't know what's going to happen in terms of the markets and everything in the future. So creating a specific deadline for something to happen that a lot of it is out of my control is a little tricky. But I've been using the information that I already know and looking at the numbers myself to determine what my goal should be. So of course I could say, let's have the goal be make $10,000 per month by the end of 2020. And sure, then it's a time-based goal, but I think you would all agree that that's pretty unrealistic. So then my achievable criteria doesn't hold up. Alternatively, I could set my goal to achieve this goal by 2060. And I would say that that's very achievable and definitely time-based, but I know I can do it earlier. And so why would I set my goal significantly further than I think I can do it in? I want to make sure my goal is achievable, but I also want to make sure it pushes me to work as hard as I can and to focus and to get to where I want to be as quickly as possible. So I've come up with a middle ground, which is 15 years. My goal is within 15 years, essentially by the end of 2035, I would like to have a rental real estate income on average per month of $10,000. Additionally, by the time I reach that $10,000 per month threshold, I would like to have paid off all of my mortgages. Now, I'm sure some of you probably hear 15 years and are thinking, are you crazy? You could do it in half the time. Why wait 15 years? And probably some of you are thinking, wow, $10,000 within 15 years, that's way too soon. That's not achievable. And I think both of you could be right. However, I'm looking at the specific numbers for my situation. And so I'm looking at how much I'm saving now, how much I think I could be saving in the future, and different values that you frankly don't know right now. And so for me, I think 15 years is a reasonable amount of time that won't be easy, but I am confident that I can do it. So now I have my SMART goal. It's specific, it's measurable, it's achievable, it's relevant, and it's time-based. However, having a deadline for this goal that's 15 years out just seems a bit overwhelming and hard to visualize. And so I've further broken my goal down into 5-year chunks and 1 short-term goal. My short-term goal is to purchase 2 rental properties with 20% down by the end of 2020. And ideally, the first one I would purchase before I turn 26 in September. Then my 5-year goal would be to have a monthly rental real estate income of $1,000 per month and to have at least 20% equity in each of the properties I own. And then my 10-year goal is to make $3,000 per month through my rental real estate portfolio. And by that time, I would also like to hold at least 50% equity in each home. And so this is within 10 years, so by the end of 2030. And then I already mentioned my ultimate goal, my 15-year goal of having $10,000 per month of income from my rental real estate portfolio and have my portfolio be totally paid off so that I have no mortgages. So there you have it. Those are my SMART goals for my rental real estate portfolio. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please like it below and subscribe to follow along on my journey. I will be posting a video every Thursday and Sunday through the end of June, and then after that I will switch to posting once a week. See you in my next video.